Okay, today is June 29th, 2019, and we're here with Kitty Zoeter. Kitty, welcome. How are you, Kitty?
I'm fine, thank you.
Kitty, tell me when were you born?
I was born in Maricopa, California, 1925.
Okay, and who are your parents, or who were your parents?
My parents were, my dad was Lawrence Kuhn, and my mother was Mary Louise Genet
Uh-huh.
from France.
Oh, from France.
Hmm.
Now, tell me a little bit about your childhood and where did you grow up? Where were you born, and what did you do back then?
Well, my dad was a foreman of the Union Oil Company in Maricopa, and so we lived on a company house.
Okay.
We were born there, me and my two brothers,
How long did you live there for?
till I was 5, 1930.
In 1930, and then was it at that point you decided to move to La Habra? Did you move to La Habra?
Yeah, we moved to La Habra because my dad retired. He didn't retire. He quit the Union Oil Company and was going to go to work. He had a project he's going to do with a couple of friends in Mexico.
Okay.
So he wanted us closer to his relatives, so we moved to La Habra because I had relatives in Placencia and La Habra.
So you moved to La Habra in 1930, correct?
Uh-huh.
So tell me about your early childhood here in La Habra in the 1930s. How was that like?
Oh, I went to Washington School
Uh-huh.
from kindergarten through the 8th grade.
Uh-huh. And
And
what memories do you have of the school system here back in the 30s?
a lot of stories.
Okay. Well, tell me.
Some good, some bad.
Okay. Tell me a good one to start off with. Let's
A
start on
good
a
one?
happy note.
Let me think. Oh gosh, let me think. I can think of a lot of bad ones.
Okay.
Let me think of a good one.
Tell me a good one.
Well, when I was in the 6th grade, they took me out and made me run with the 7th and 8th graders at a track meet because I could outrun them.
Okay.
And they made me pass for a 7th grader.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Who were some of your favorite teachers back at Washington School?
Favorite teachers? Well, we had 4th grade. We had, I'm trying to think of her name. 4th grade teacher. She taught with a ruler snapping in her hand all the time, and she used it on the shoulders of kids who talked out and made it. Miss
Elder, was it?
Elder.
Was
Yeah.
it Elder?
Yeah. Miss Elder.
Uh-huh.
She was really a tough teacher, but we learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of kids didn't like her because she was too tough. But in the 5th grade, I had a teacher. How was her name? See, I have trouble remembering names. But she asked my parents, could she take my brother and me? My brother, Jim, and I were 11 months apart. And when he was in the 1st grade, his teacher died, and they kept half of the class back. And my parents said, well, let's keep Jim back too. So when I got 1st grade from kindergarten, we were together all the way through school. And this teacher, what's her name? She wanted to take us, she asked my parents if she could take us to a college football game,
Mm-hmm.
USC.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, okay. So she took us to the game. On a Saturday night, she picked us up. And after the game, she took us down on the field. She wanted to meet the captain of the football team, who happened to be my cousin.
Yeah.
So she got to meet him that way.
All right.
I'm trying to think of her name.
So when you were growing up, what were some of the things that you played with as a kid, and what did you do to pass the time as a kid, and in your neighborhood? Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Well, at the end of the field, Washington School,
Yeah.
they had a baseball diamond with lights. And every night, like Mr. Whitey, the custodian, he lived on the
Yeah.
campus. He would turn the lights on, and then everybody who wanted to play baseball would come play ball. They'd have a good time playing ball.
So what's your fondest memory as a child?
Oh, gee, I got lots of them.
What is your most fondest memory as a child?
I enjoyed the every month a big package coming from France with clothes.
With clothes? And these were relatives of your mom that were...
My grandmother.
Your grandmother was sending you stuff.
She sent a box of clothes because of the Depression was time. But I had fancy clothes, and when I even went to high school, I had the first pleated skirts that you didn't have to iron, and the first blouses.
Oh, really?
I had beautiful clothes, yeah.
So how was it growing up in the Depression, since you mentioned the Depression now? How was it?
Everybody was tough. It was hard.
Yeah.
And everybody should remember the Hoskins grocery store up on the corner of La Habra Boulevard and South College Street.
Okay.
And they'd get all charged groceries.
Yeah.
And my mom worked there for a little while for her, because my mother was highly educated compared to most women. She was taken from her home when she was 4, because she lived with her mother and her 4 uncles, all high military people, and around their home was like a military compound. And so she sent her away to school, and later to England. She went to school with the children of the royal family.
Oh, wow. Tell me, who were your siblings that you had? How many brothers and sisters?
2 brothers, that's all.
2 brothers, that's it?
Hmm?
Were they overprotective of you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah? Tell me in what way?
My first date in high school, there was a car following us.
Oh, there was a car following you in high school, huh?
That's in high school, yeah.
Okay. So they were overprotective. They want to make sure that you were taken care of, okay, huh?
Especially my older brother, the one I went to school with every year, yeah.
So, what high school did you go to?
Can I tell you a story about it?
Absolutely.
School? I'd like to tell you what happened in the 8th grade.
Okay.
And in my 8th grade, I had a teacher called Mr. Beery.
Mr. Barry?
B-E-E-R-Y.
Okay.
Beery.
Okay.
He was a nice teacher, okay? He said, today we're going to start something new. We're going to start, up until then we always wrote with pencils.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, we're starting with pens now. We had desks, that had the ink wells in them, the old-fashioned desks. They had an ink well in the corner. And we looked, we all had ink in our wells for the first time. And he said, we're going to start here with these new pens. And he handed us, I wish I'd had a copy. I looked for one of the old-fashioned pens. They were just this long, and then they had the pointed stick in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that.
Okay.
And so he passed them all out. And then we got interrupted. The secretary came to the door and said, Mr. Berry, you had a phone call.
Okay.
We didn't have telephones in our rooms.
Okay.
And he said, okay, class, be quiet till I come back. And he had to go to the only telephone was in the principal's office.
Okay.
Mr. Severs.
Okay.
So he went there to telephone, and then when he came back, he said, okay, now we'll start with our new penmanship class. And he was writing on the board, making lines, and you know how they make the middle line dotted,
right.
so it could put small letters.
Right.
And he started writing big capital A and then a little capital A. And he said, okay. And one kid passed out papers, so we had the papers for penmanship. And then he said, let's start writing. He turned and he said, why aren't you writing? Where are your pens? And we didn't say anything. And one kid looked up at the ceiling, and they were all up there in the ceiling.
Mm. Wow.
Every pen.
Every pen, huh? They threw them up, huh?
Yeah.
So what's your fondest memory of high school?
High school. Ah, gee. Being cheerleader, I guess.
You were a cheerleader?
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite cheer back then?
I was a drum major, too.
What was the cheer that you used to do? you remember any of their cheers?
No, I don't know.
You don't remember any of the cheers or little sayings that you did when you cheered? Huh?
No, I'm trying to think. Not at all. I had a lot of fun in high school.
What was some of the music you listened to back in high school?
Music what?
What was some of the music that you listened to back in high school?
I took Glee Club.
Uh-huh.
I liked Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy.
So when you were out and about and with your friends, and you guys would listen to music or go to a dance, who were the popular artists? Who were the bands that you listened to back then? What kind of music was played back then?
Freddie Martin.
Okay.
That was called later.
Okay.
But high school, I don't know.
And what kind of
I guess
dances?
we had canned music, huh?
What kind of dances would you dance to?
Jitterbug.
Jitterbug. Okay.
The American Legion Hall downtown,
Yes.
every Saturday night was open to dancing like that.
Okay.
My brother and I used to go down there and jitterbug.
So growing up and being in high school, what was La Habra like back then? What do you remember about La Habra back
Well, we
then?
had no high school.
Okay.
We all had to ride the bus to Fullerton,
Okay.
and we had to wear uniforms.
Okay.
The girls had to wear navy blue pleated skirts. I got pleated ones with friends.
Okay.
They had to wear navy blue skirts and white blouses, and the freshmen wore one color scarf. The sophomores wore another color scarf. The juniors wore another color, and the seniors wore another color.
Okay.
They could tell what levels you
What
were.
grade they were in, and yeah.
And the boys had to wear, I guess, they were their uniforms. They had to wear jeans, I guess, and I don't know if they wore uniforms or not. I can't remember.
So I heard that your father was part of the Civil Defense Group. Your father was part of the Civil Defense Group?
That was my mom.
That was your mom, okay. And tell me a little bit about that, and tell me about the story of the police department and all of that with the Civil Defense Group.
That was all after the war.
Okay.
Okay. In the La Habra Star, what's her name? What's her name, Tony? The gal who wrote the article.
Probably Jane Williams?
No,
Susan Gady?
not more. Nicole.
Nicole Panza?
Yeah,
Okay, so Nicole Panza wrote an article, okay.
about explaining what it was all about.
Okay.
Because we were having airways over La
Well,
Habra.
let's pretend I'm Nicole and you tell me what happened back then.
La Habra has airways over La Habra.
Okay.
Okay, we're jumping way up ahead.
Okay. Well, I can go back, but just kind of, I want to get that
Okay.
story before I forget.
After the war, this is
Okay.
after the war, we had a anti-aircraft gun stationed right on the corner of La Habra Boulevard and Harbor,
Okay.
on the corner. It was all fenced, roped, covered up. And one night, they started shooting
Who
That-
started shooting?
the anti-aircraft gun.
Okay.
And they had floodlights on an airplane, and we were watching it too. So high, you barely see it. The airplane, a foreign airplane. They were trying to shoot it, but they couldn't hit it. But we watched it. We watched it come over the harbor like that, and then suddenly it turned and went out to sea.
You remember it, huh?
Yes.
You remember that day? Were you afraid?
No, but we were watching. We knew it was a foreign airplane.
Yeah. But you weren't afraid of the shooting?
Well, we were startled.
Uh-huh.
You could help but hear it.
But you weren't worried that you were going to get hit or get killed or
No,
something like that? No?
no, but they were trying to get it.
Okay.
And since we were a direct line, it says in the art, Nicole wrote it beautifully how it's written. Direct line of lots of traffic, air
Okay.
traffic.
Yeah.
So they started the Civil Air Patrol. And I don't know how my mom got involved, but she was in charge of it. And everybody knew, what's his name, who lives in the Heights?
I don't know.
Everybody knew him. He was blind and drove his car without license.
He was blind and drove a car without a license? I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Magoo? I don't know.
Everybody knew him.
Okay, well, okay.
I'm trying to think of his name. Davenport.
Okay.
You knew him, didn't you?
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm trying to think of his first name. I'm trying to think of his first name. Anyway, he was in charge of the program.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of them worked together, and they needed, and with the a sergeant from the army. I don't know if he's the army or what, but we needed a place, a watchtower in La Habra.
Mm-hmm.
So the police department said, "Okay, build it on top of the police department."
That was the old original police department, I presume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have pictures of it.
Okay.
So they built it up there. I got a lot of pictures.
Okay.
And we needed people to watch, to be the
Did you ever watch?
Yeah,
You were a watcher?
yeah,
Did you ever see anything?
yeah.
What would you see?
Ordinary airplanes going by.
Okay.
But
But
we had
never any enemy planes or anything of that sort that you
Nothing
remember?
that high, no.
Okay.
If it wasn't the enemy plane, it would have been real high.
Okay.
But the regular air traffic going by, we had to record every airplane.
Okay.
So we had a nice office there, and the Junior Women's Club said they'd like to take that as a project, so we had a lot of volunteers from them, and it was neat because they had a schedule, all day, and then sometimes at night, I guess.
So how did it make you feel that you were able to participate in such a important project to keep kind of like La Habra safe and be an observer up there? How did it make you feel?
I don't know. My mom said, "We're making this war go fast."
Okay.
That was her name, she said.
Let me track back to high school. So you were in high school. What was your favorite subject in high school?
Work subject? Shorthand typing.
Okay, typing. Okay. So back in high school, what would you do in your free time? What was the life of Kitty Zoeter like in high school? Tell me. Oh, you weren't even a Zoeter back then. What was your maiden name?
Kuhn.
Kuhn. Okay.
K-U-H-N.
Kitty Kuhn.
That was me.
That's got a catchy name, Kitty Kuhn. So what was the life of Kitty Kuhn like in high school? You were a cheerleader.
Yeah.
So it gives me the impression that you were pretty popular.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You don't think so?
No, but I had fun.
You had fun. How did
Yeah.
you have fun? What was fun about high school?
High school.
Did you have a lot of boyfriends?
I had my two brothers. The house was always full of boys.
Okay.
If I wanted to go to a dance, I could pick one and say, "Take me." Okay, and we go.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, I'd go to all the dances, but I could pick who I wanted to go. Take me.
Okay.
Because the house was always full of boys.
So
But
after high school...
I can tell you something good about high school.
Okay, tell me something good
We
about high
didn't have a swimming pool in La Habra.
Okay.
When I was younger, my mom would take any kid from La Habra who wanted to go walk with her to railroad tracks to Brea. She wanted those kids to know how to swim.
Mm.
She insisted, "You're going to know how to swim." We were little. And we would pack our lunches and take them to the Brea Plunge
Okay.
and have swimming lessons.
Okay.
And she had the lunches on the table, kept moving them to keep the ants from getting them.
Mm.
and then after our swimming lesson, we eat our lunch. And then an ice cream guy would come by, with a cart. So she'd buy us all an ice cream. Then we'd walk all the way from Brea back home.
So tell me,
And that's your early then. But in high school, there was orange trees and trees all over La Habra, But down on Beach Boulevard at Imperial, there was this ranch. I don't know what they call it, but the Oxrods lived there.
Okay.
And on the top of the hill was a big reservoir.
Okay.
And then this is in high school, Joe Oxrod was a friend of ours. He was their son. They had 3 daughters and a son. And he would tell us, his friends, all his friends, that Saturday, come and clean out the reservoir. We'd all came with our brooms and clean it all out spotless, because he's going to fill it full of water for irrigation. And that was our swimming pool. And he would hide a watermelon sometimes. He'd put one in the
So
in their
what's the fondest memory you have of your parents?
parents.
Why don't we
I
start
guess
with your mom? What's your fondest memory about your mom?
Camping trips in the summer. And
Camping trips. So where would you go camping to?
Sequoia.
Sequoias? Okay.
Yeah.
And fondest memory about your dad. How did it make you feel that your father, or actually it was your mom, was part of the civil defense group? How did it make you feel that they were part of that?
Well, when I come home on the bus, there'd be a long dress waiting on my bed. I had to get dressed real quick and jump in the car. She'd have me a sandwich or something for me to eat if they didn't feed us. We liked the Navy because they fed us first.
Well,
Before they always fed us first before we had to go to the hall and dance.
okay.
But if they didn't,
How often were those dances?
huh?
How often were those dances?
Every Friday and Saturday night,
Okay.
and there'd be, and sometimes we'd go to Catalina for the Merchant Marines and spend.
You were on the circuit, huh?
Sometimes we spent a weekend. Those guys were young and they were fun, but they were different.
So after high school, I understand you went to Fullerton College, correct?
No,
No, you okay?
no.
Then correct me. Then what did you do after high school?
My senior year in high school was hard because at the end we had no graduation because all the boys had to go to war.
Okay.
That was the Battle of the Bulge starting, the Germans taking over Europe.
Uh-huh.
And that's when Miss Cass called me to her office. And she said the FBI was looking for girls, certain girls, to work for them. And she recommended me. And she recommended Doris Klein and another girl. And she wanted to know if we could do it. And I said, well, I have to ask my folks. So I asked my folks, and they said, it all depends. We need to talk to somebody,
Okay.
So an agent came to the door, came to the house, and they talked. And they said, okay. She thought I'd be well protected. I was 17 years old.
And what did you do for the FBI?
Work for them.
I know, but what did you do? Is it classified, or what did you do for them back then?
Well, a lot of things I can't say.
There's nothing you can't share what you did?
A lot of things you can't share.
A lot of things you can't share. Is there anything
Yeah.
you can share that you did with the FBI?
I better not.
Okay, you'd rather not. Okay.
But they used me. I can tell you one story.
Okay, tell me a story.
At noon, Doris and I would go out and we'd gobble our lunch real quick and go outside on the streets, because across the street was a place. We'd go in there in the department store and try on hats and be funny. And we'd walk around the block. And one time we were walking around the block, there was a big theater there. And there was a whole bunch of police cars parked in front. And we were walking by there, and a cop stopped us. And they were pulling kids out of the theater. They had ditched school. And they were hauling them all out of school and putting them in the police cars, taking them back to school, I guess. And so they stopped us and wouldn't let us go. Okay. What are you doing? We work around the corner over there. You work around the corner? Yes, that's our office. No, you stay here. I thought we were kids. I looked young for some reason. Especially me, they wanted to. They let her go, but they wouldn't let me go.
So.
And you know what?
What?
I was late getting back to the office, so I had to go to Mr. Hood, the boss. And I said, I'm sorry I'm late, but I got stopped by the police because they hauled the kids out of the theater. And the kids on the car said, bring her on, she's one of ours, bring us on.
Okay.
They almost took me. He said, and the FBI chief said, why didn't you go? They owe me, they owe me something.
How did it make you feel? You're so young.
He said he'd come and get me by himself.
How did it make you feel, Kitty? You're so young, and to have a very important position with the FBI. How did that make you feel back then?
I didn't feel my position was so important.
No?
No, I was one of the gang.
You're part of the gang?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
Now, I understand you worked for J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah.
How was that about? Tell me about your experience with J. Edgar Hoover.
I got to meet him every June. He'd come out to the office to visit.
Okay.
So he came. I had a little office. I had a desk and all this stuff. And then I had a whole squadron of agents that I worked for.
Yeah.
Okay. And he came in and visited with me, and we talked. And he's on his way to Lake Arrowhead. He'd go every summer to Lake Arrowhead for 2 weeks. That was his vacation.
Okay.
And then he'd stop. So it's the only time I got to visit with him, though, because I didn't go to Washington D.C.
How was it to work for J. Edgar Hoover?
How was it?
How was it?
Good.
Good?
I never saw him but once.
Oh, you only saw him once?
When he came by on his way to his vacation.
Oh, on his way to Lake Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So, what was your experience with? Were you with talking with him and?
He's a little short guy. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he pleasant?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
What did you talk about that you could share with me?
I don't know. I don't know what we talked about.
You don't remember what you talked about?
Oh.
Yeah. He's a little short guy, huh?
Very pleasant. Very nice. Told me he's glad I was there. That's all I remember.
Okay. So then after that, is that when you went to Fullerton College? When did you end up going to Fullerton College?
I was there 3.5 years. I resigned when my brother Jim got out of the service.
Okay.
And we both went to school together.
To Fullerton College.
Back to school together, Fullerton College, yeah.
When did you end up meeting Ernie? I believe it was at Fullerton College?
Yeah. Now, Fullerton College was a different school because we had about 200 girls and about 2,000 men at school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just all Army, military coming back because they had the GI Bill.
So you had a lot to choose from, huh?
Well, I had to sign up. I majored in international relations. I needed a science class, so I signed up. I didn't like biology, so I signed up for geology. And then the first day of school, I went to class, opened the door, and I said, oh, I can't go in there. There's nothing but men all the way up the hill. And they had stairs. It was a big room. Now, I'm not going in there. I didn't see any girls. So I stayed outside.
Mm.
And the professor came along, and he said, are you Kitty Coon? Yes. Well, you're in my class. I said, I don't think so. I don't see any girls in there. That's okay, come on in. And when he came, and so I went in there, and halfway up through the, they had stairs on the building. It was a big room. Halfway up, somebody stood up and put his finger like that and whistled.
Whistled?
It was Ernie, and he went like that.
He whistled you and gave you the motion to come over?
He'd saved me a chair.
He saved you a chair. And what did he do?
Introduce himself.
Okay. How did the introduction go?
I didn't like sitting in the middle of all those guys, but that's where I sat.
Okay. And you introduced yourself to him. And how was your feeling when you first met him and saw him?
Another guy.
Huh?
Just another guy.
Just another guy.
Yeah. I'll tell you how I really wanted him.
Tell me.
You want to hear?
I want to hear.
Okay, we had a ski in the hive, where where you buy food, the hive. We played pinochle. Everybody. I mean, we were older.
Okay.
The younger girls.
About how old were you then? Just give me an idea.
21.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
Yeah, I was their age.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I wasn't these young girls out of high school.
Yeah.
And we played pinochle. I met a guy there. He was, and we challenged everybody in the school with a pinochle, the two of us.
Okay.
I was late to French class every day because I had to finish a game.
Oh wow.
That's terrible.
Uh-huh.
But going back to the, what were we talking about?
Ernie. First meeting Ernie.
Oh, when we were signing our schedules, I didn't know he'd looking over my shoulder, so he signed up for that class. He wanted to meet me.
He wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
So when did he finally get the courage to meet you and ask you out?
Right there.
Where?
In the chair.
In the chair.
Yeah.
And what did he tell you?
He said he wanted to talk to me. Okay, so I'll talk to you. So I guess we went to the hive. I don't know. I had lunch or something.
Okay.
And he asked me if I want to go to the Anaheim parade.
To the Anaheim. Was it the Halloween parade back
yeah,
then?
Yeah.
Is that the Halloween parade?
Yeah. So I said,
Yeah.
okay. So we went to the Halloween parade.
So that was your first day at the Halloween parade?
Yeah.
And did you guys go out to eat? Did you, after the parade, what did you do? Tell me about that date.
I don't remember much about that day except we go to the parade and talk. But I do remember.
So was it love at first sight, Kitty?
Huh?
Was it love at first sight when you first met
No.
Ernie?
No.
No?
I was the president of the ski club, and you know that year we had snow 2 nights in a row here in La Habra.
Okay.
And the school was full of snow, and the Hillcrest Park was covered with snow.
Okay.
So we all took our skis to school and ditched school in the afternoon and went up there and tore up the park.
Okay.
Skiing.
Wow.
Had fun.
Yeah.
Well, I was president of the ski club. I don't know how I got that, but anyway, Audrey, what's her last name? I can't remember Audrey's last name, but they have a cabin at Green Valley Lake, her family.
Yeah.
She said, well, my folks said we could use their cabin because it was snow, we had snow, a lot of snow in the mountains. So, okay, so that weekend of Friday, and we had Miss Twiddle. And I don't know her real name. She was an ex-soldier teacher. She taught science. And I can't remember, but we called her Miss Twiddle.
Okay.
She didn't care. That was her name. She was our sponsor
Okay.
for our club, ski club. Okay. So we went to Audrey's house on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a room for the girls and a whole bunk rooms for the guys. And Ernie joined the ski club, I guess, because I was there. I think.
Smart man.
I don't know. He was a good friend then. We were all good friends.
How long did you date Ernie?
Well, let me tell you the story.
Tell me.
Audrey, we gave Audrey $5. She was supposed to buy the food. And she had in the kitchen all these sacks. And somebody said, what's for dinner? Audrey said, I don't know. She bought all the food, but she didn't know. We thought, my gosh, what's going to happen? So we were all talking, we were sitting around the fireplace in the living room. Pretty soon we could hear some noise in the kitchen. And I went in there, and there was Ernie in there going through all the stuff. He cooked dinner.
Ernie cooked dinner, huh?
He went in there, he took all the stuff out, and he made dinner for all of us.
What did he cook you?
A big spaghetti dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And I thought, my gosh, I like him.
So that's when you started liking him. How long did you date?
So I decided that's the one I want.
How long that's what you decided you wanted him?
Yeah.
How long did you date?
Until June.
No, how long total? Like months, years?
Well, from June, no, just from that winter till that June.
It was only a couple months, few months you dated?
6 months.
6 months you dated, then he asked you to marry him?
No, I decided I was going to marry him back 6 months ago.
You asked him to marry you?
No.
What, I'm losing something. What,
No, I just decided that was the guy I liked.
Okay, so that was the guy you liked. So when did he propose to you?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
You don't remember where it was at? Where he told you to marry him? Do you remember when you got married?
Yeah.
Where did you get married at?
June the 11th, 1949.
And you tell me a story about the bishop and that whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, 1949.
Yeah, tell me about the whole bishop story about you.
We belonged to St. Mary's Church in Fullerton. And
now, you and Ernie belonged to St. Mary's back then?
no, he didn't belong to any church, but he joined the church afterwards.
Okay.
But what was funny was, I thought we'd get married to St. Mary's in Fullerton, and I went to see the priest, and he said, no, you got the church of your own in La Habra. I said, we do. Where is it? On Hillcrest Street, South Hillcrest. Oh, really? I said, I didn't know that. I said, but how come Betty Whitelock, my friend, she just got married here a month ago, and now I can't get married here? No, you have to get married in La Habra because you have your own church now. Oh my goodness, I was really upset. I said, what am I going to do? So anyway, I made an appointment in LA, and I went clear to see the bishop.
Uh-huh.
I went by myself. He was nice, really nice. He asked me to help him. He said, I want you to break the ice. I want you to get married in La Habra.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's no parking lot. We filled the whole street because Ernie had a big family. And
You had a big family?
we had a lot of friends.
You had a big wedding?
Yeah.
And
I have a pictures here
yeah.
inside. So my mother hired, I told my mother, so disappointed. I said, that old barn?
Uh-huh.
She said, we'll fix it up. So she hired 3 people to help her clean the place inside, and a florist. And they put big palm leaves on the walls on the inside. And the altar was pretty, and covered it with flowers, and a white runner
What
down
priest
the
married
middle.
you back then? Do you remember?
Yeah, Father Stapleton. I had to go see him.
Okay.
I
Right.
took Ernie and said, let's go visit him.
Okay.
So we went down and talked to him. He set the date. I mean, you know, we worked with him then. And then Dr. Fernandez was in town.
Okay.
He was a doctor here. He had his oldest child was born crippled,
Mm-hmm.
and he donated an organ to the church,
Okay.
which was nice.
Okay.
And I had friends who sang at church weddings, so I hired them. And anyway, it turned out kind of nice.
Mm.
So we got married there, and we filled the whole street.
Did you happen to have a honeymoon?
Yeah, we had a funny honeymoon.
Okay. tell me about the funny honeymoon.
Well, we took off up north. We went up to San Francisco. We had fun there. And then we went on up to the Redwoods, found a cabin, stayed there a while. Then we were coming back and said, let's go through Yosemite. Okay, so we drove to Yosemite on our way home. He had a tent in the back of his car. I didn't know about it. So we stopped in the park, found a spot. He got the tent out. Half of it was missing.
Oh no.
His friend stole it.
Oh no.
His friends, oh, what are we going to do? We can't stay in half a tent. And so he said, guard our spot. He said, I'm going to go to town. So I sat on the dirt there waiting. He went to town. He came back. He couldn't find a tent, but he found a great big towel and some clothespins.
Uh-huh.
So he made the other half of the
So you
tent.
made the other half with a tarp or whatever to try to make do.
So he made a makeshift tent. That was our last night of our honeymoon. After that, we came home.
So what do you suppose, what was the thing that really kind of attracted you to Ernie back then?
He's cooking dinner in the kitchen
Okay.
in the mountains.
Okay.
That cinched it. I liked him, but that really cinched it.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I got to have that one.
What is your fondest memory of Ernie?
He liked him. They were friends.
Now, what's your fondest memory of Ernie?
My father's really here.
You know, not your father's. What is your fondest memory of
Oh,
Ernie?
fondest.
Your fondest memory of Ernie.
Oh, there are too many. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But he was the right guy.
Yeah.
We were very happy
Why was he the right guy?
because we had a long and happy life.
Yeah.
We did.
How long were you married?
70 years.
70 years.
70 years.
What's the secret to having a long, successful marriage?
To be the best friends, be able to trust each other. You know, it's like somebody that you can say anything to and you don't have to worry.
Uh-huh. Was Ernie a good listener?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good dad. He was a good father. He was a scoutmaster at the church for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when our daughter, who's in the 8th grade, came home one night, she said, I'm no longer a Girl Scout. I joined the Civil Air Patrol. What? She said, well, the scout leader had a young man in the Civil Air Patrol come and talk at the meeting. And she said, I quit Girl Scouts. I've had enough. Ernie was a little disappointed in the girls, too, because he got sometimes with them. And one time they were in San Diego, at time to have dinner, and the lady brought out frozen meat to cook for dinner, you know, and stuff. It was hard. So that was so funny. He was disappointed in the Girl Scouts too, but he didn't want it to rub off on her. But I guess anyway, she was happy with that because they could fly.
What were some of the things that you and Ernie would do as a family, you know, with your children and stuff? What were some of the activities that you did as a family?
Well, he gave 1 week of his vacation every summer to scouting for one section of John Muir Trail.
Okay.
And we had a scoutmaster in Fullerton ask, please, will you let my son go with you next year because they don't go anywhere. So, you know, and he had to close the troop at 50 boys because they all wanted in, because they all like hiking in the high Sierras.
Suppose some of your family members are watching this video, and what advice would you give them to have a successful marriage? What would you tell them?
Family members?
Any family members you have, or somebody watching this, what's your advice to them to have a successful marriage like you and Ernie had?
I'd give them nothing.
Huh?
I wouldn't say anything.
You wouldn't say anything?
I wouldn't know what to say.
You wouldn't know what to say about advice?
I don't think they ever asked me for advice either.
Well, I'm asking you, what do you think? What do you think would you like to give them advice? If I came, let's say I came to you, Kitty, and I said, Kitty, God, you and Ernie were married a long time. What's the secret to a successful marriage? Now, my marriage ended up in divorce. What would you tell somebody that maybe is having a tough time and they don't know what to do? What advice would you give them? You made it 70 years.
I don't. I'd have to think on that one.
Okay.
I don't know, really.
Okay.
I don't know.
When was the best time of your life and why?
Best time?
What was the best time of your life?
There are a lot of best times. I couldn't tell you best times.
Do you have any, what would you say, wow, I had the time of my life at this time? What would you say?
I guess when we were all belonged to the Civil Air Patrol and Ernie was instructor.
Okay. And what was so nice about that?
When he went back to flying, which he really enjoyed doing, and he taught so many young people to fly gliders because the Air Force wants you in gliders first. Gliders are in the air are like sailboats on the sea. They fly with the currents. And even my granddaughter soloed at 16, and all these boys would come from, even from Northern California to learn to fly.
So in talking to you, I get the impression that public service and giving back to the community was a major part of yours and Ernie's life.
Yes.
Why was that so important to you, even in your later years?
I guess because our kids were involved.
Uh-huh. So let's talk a little bit about your children. How many children did you have? Or have?
Three.
Three. Who are they? And tell me.
Hmm?
Who were your three children? Name them. And
Jim and Rocky and Marcy.
okay. And how were they? How were you guys as a family? All with the three children. What was your favorite part and activity that you would do as a family that you enjoyed the most?
I guess dinner time. I'd take the phone off the hook so we could have dinner and talk.
So it's very important that
as a family, yes.
Family time at the dinner table is very important. That's something that's gone now. Was that important to you
Each
folks?
night, to both of us,
Yeah.
it's important.
So peel away a little bit about how was the dinner table at the Zoeter house? What would you guys talk about? What would you do?
Lots of laughing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Lots of laughing. I heard that from a neighbor. Said, "We hear you laughing all the time."
Oh.
No, but that was important because they were school, and we were all busy, and then dinner time. I said, if I'm going to take the time to cook a good dinner, you're going to sit here and we're going to talk. And I'd take the phone off the hook, and each one would tell what happened during the day.
So, at the dinner table, what was Kitty Zoeter's specialty meal? What did Kitty love to cook the most? And the family favorite meal?
I don't think we had one. I don't think we had a favorite meal. I don't remember.
They were all good?
I hope. They ate them.
Well, what did you like cooking, Kitty? What did you like cooking?
Huh?
What did you like to cook?
I like to cook. Macaroni and hamburger, one of them.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Chicken.
Yeah. What was
and
the
Ernie
best?
would barbecue.
Ernie would barbecue.
Mm-hmm. He built our barbecue.
Having the family together, what were the holidays like around the Zoeter household?
Holidays. Well, we always had Christmas Eve here with the family. Yeah. And we had, because they had their children and they would have their own Christmas Day at home low. But then we would go from house to house Christmas Day and visit all of them. But when they all came here for Christmas Eve, and when they were small, is it the Kiwanis Club had a Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
We'd have him come.
They're really okay.
Scare the kids to death when they were little.
What was the most important values that you instilled in your children?
Values?
Yeah. What do you think was important that your kids would know in life that you pass on to them?
I guess to be close. I don't know.
To be close?
Close, yeah.
Would you say that your family, the Zoeter family, is very close?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We help each other.
Yeah. What do you love most about your family?
Well, I have no regrets, and we had dogs, and we had cats, and we had a skunk one time. I had a skunk.
What looking back now, and as your children may get to look at this video, what advice would you want them to know as they're
Them to know?
Yeah, what advice would you give your children right now? If your children are looking right now, what advice would you give them?
I can't, they're too old.
Well, you're never too old to learn to get some advice. What would you tell what do you think is really important? You had a message to give your children right now. What do you think would be that important message to tell them about life or about what you've learned over your years of wisdom?
At my age right now, I don't give them advice. I tell them what I want them to take when I go.
Okay.
After all, look how old I am.
Well, how old are you?
I'm going to be 94. I tell everybody I'm 49.
Okay, that's okay. So you're in your 90s.
Yeah.
Looking back, what would you do different in your life, Kitty?
Different in my
Yeah,
life?
what would you do different in your life?
Oh, gee, you're going to make me think. I can't think. Different in my life.
What would you do different?
You're making me think, and my brain doesn't want to work anymore. Do I think? I don't know. I like to have gone to France more, visit relatives more.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. They come here and visit too.
Tell me, what's the typical life? What's the typical day of like Kitty right now?
Me?
What is your typical day like right now?
My day is not my best because I'm slow. I can't get around very fast. I use my walker so I'll stand straight. I go to rehab. I'm trying to stay alive. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Looking back, what does La Habra mean to you, Kitty?
La Habra?
What does La Habra mean to you?
You want the truth?
I want the truth. Tell me.
I'm very disappointed.
Okay.
I'm disappointed with what's happening downtown.
Okay.
All those apartments, no place to park, too far to go. I heard complaints at the corn festival. Friends couldn't go because they couldn't find a place to park.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me sad.
That made you sad.
Yeah.
So, from the early years of La Habra to La Habra today, how have things changed?
They've changed a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're still changing.
Uh-huh. So, if Kitty Zoeter had her way, how would you like to see La Habra today?
Do La Habra?
How would you like to see La Habra today?
I'd like to take those apartment houses out.
Yeah.
And give us our parking lot back for the museum.
Uh-huh. So you've been involved with the museum.
You're not going to put all that in there, are you?
No, we'll figure it out. We'll just talk. We'll just talk.
Want me to get fired?
Why has it been so important to you and even Ernie for so many years to be involved with the La Habra Historical Museum? Why?
Well, Esther Ridgway,
Uh-huh.
Esther Kramer.
Mm-hmm.
I've known her all my life.
Mm-hmm.
She called me. She asked me if I go right around town with her where she was marking which houses were old and she was working. I said, okay, and she invited me to a meeting. I went. And Ernie and I went, and we had friends there.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoyed one meeting where they had old toys, homemade toys, handmade toys.
Mm-hmm.
And all the Prouds were there, and it was a nice social time.
Yeah.
So we kept going. That's how we got started. And then Mr. Kaplinger was the treasurer.
Okay.
He passed away, and they had a meeting, and I wasn't there. When I came back, I was the treasurer.
Yeah.
And I still am, I guess.
So how does it make you feel? We have the museum, and to know that you and Ernie played such an important role in building the historical museum. How does that make you feel?
Well, we liked it. We wanted it to be a reality, and it was good.
And how does it make you feel? Outside. Tell me about the windmill that's outside there. Tell me the history about the windmill. Okay.
Our grandson Robbie was becoming an Eagle Scout, but he had to have a project. He was looking for a project, and so Ernie thought, wouldn't it be neat if we had one of these old windmills in front of our museum? So we asked the city. They said that would be great. So that was his project.
To build a windmill. So how does it make you feel when you drive up to the museum? Well, when you used to be able to drive up there, and you see this windmill, and to know that you and your family and your grandson played an important role in building this windmill. How does that make you feel?
Made me feel good.
Yeah.
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 I just wish we hadn't lost our parking lot.
Yeah.
In the back.
Right.
Because it's too hard to walk. I can't walk very far at all myself.
Yeah. So, what do you think people will remember Kitty Zoeter by?
A pest.
A pest? I don't think so. Come on. You have beautiful neighbors. You have a wonderful neighborhood here. All your
Yeah.
neighbors love you. You have people that still stay close to you. What's the legacy that Kitty Zoeter leaves?
Me?
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff that I should have thrown away, like all those old newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
I was a collector of stuff that I shouldn't have. What do you call it when the people save a lot of stuff?
Pack rats?
Yeah, I'm a
I
pack.
don't think you're a pack rat. It's pretty clean in here.
I have a diary from high school till now. I'm still every day.
Oh, you journal every day? Is there anything in your journal that you can share with us that you want
No.
to share with?
Nothing but old stuff now. No,
But you write every day. So
since
let's-
high school.
Since high school. Okay. So let's pretend you're going to journal today. What would you put in your book today if you were going to journal today? What would you say?
I put in that you guys came and fired questions at me.
Uh-huh. Is your journal very private to you?
You know, when I first started, I was writing kid stuff, high school stuff. And one day I came home from school, and here was my brother with his friends reading it.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I got so mad. So I'm very careful after that. I didn't write about dates or boys or anything like that. I learned a lesson, a good one that I kept all my life.
Uh-huh. So there's some things that you keep close to your heart, and there's some things that you'll put in the journal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a lesson that day.
So, with all the years that you've written
Yeah.
in journal, all the years, and it became, let's say it became a book, what do you think the title of the book would be? What would be the title of the Life of Kitty Zoeter? What would it be called?
Gosh. I don't know. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
else I have? These covers are full of picture albums. I have every album from the time my oldest child was born in 1952, from 1952 until 2 years ago I stopped.
What does journaling do for you? Does it help you kind of release your? Do you ever sit down and go back and look at all your memories that you have? You don't look back?
Don't have time.
You don't
They're all in the garage,
all in the garage.
except the few I have here.
Well, let me ask you something, and you can answer this if you want. Tell me something about Kitty Zoeter that people would be surprised to know about you.
Surprised to know about me.
Something surprising, or something maybe in one of these books, these journals that people would go like, wow, I didn't know that about Kitty.
You know, in grammar school, going back, I got in trouble for speaking French to my brother.
Okay. She's got in trouble for speaking French?
To my brother.
Yes, okay.
And now you can only speak English in school.
Yeah. You got in trouble?
I mean, I remember that really vivid. Oh, okay.
So tell me something. Tell me, you had a long life with Ernie. What did you admire most about Ernie?
My lord. He was a very kind
Mm-hmm.
and good. He loved his kids.
Mm-hmm.
When Marcy quit Girl Scouts, he quit Boy Scouts. After all, he'd been there 10 years. And went back to his happiness of flying. He bought his own sailplane. I have a model of it up there, up
Mhm.
here somewhere.
Did you fly much with Ernie?
I didn't like flying. You know what I did?
What did you do?
Sat under a wing, under the hot sun, and did all the bookwork.
Okay.
I kept books for every kid who came even from Northern California and had their flights on their logbooks, because they were given logbooks.
Okay.
I did that. In fact, I have tons of drawers full of copies of their work if they need them, because they wanted to fly sailplanes before they get old enough and go to the service to fly power.
We're going to start to wind this down now. Is there something that you think is important that I cover with you that I haven't talked to you about?
Well, my granddaughter, she loved flying since she's 3 years old with Ernie. She was his best pal, back seat. And one time Robbie went on a glider ride with Ernie, put him in the back seat, and he's going to give him a ride. This was at 29 pounds. He was about just a little kid. He saw that button in front of him. They took off and he pulled it. He got out of his harness and pulled it. So it broke the rope between the toe plate and him.
How does it make you feel that your family has been so committed to military service?
Because my mother was born and raised in a military family. In fact, the most famous general in France is her uncle.
But how does it make you feel that your family has been so committed and so dedicated to serving our country?
Through her.
Yeah.
That's the way she was raised.
Okay, fill in the blank. Kitty Zoeter is? Kitty Zoeter is?
Kitty Zoeter.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Kitty, how would you like to be remembered?
Me?
Yeah.
Gosh, I never thought of that. Be remembered. I don't know. Maybe they won't remember me. I don't know. Maybe it's just a grandmother that liked the kids. I know I still, all these Coke cans and stuff, bottles of Coke. I put them in a thing on the driveway in a box. And all that money is for Robbie. Since he's a little kid. When he comes, he has to take all my cans to sell them, and that's his pocket money. And here he is, 20-some years old. That's so funny.
Kitty, what has your family meant and means to you today?
Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
They're all kind, they're all good, and they all help me. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Marcy, who helps me so much. She takes me to doctor's appointments, all my appointments, because I quit driving. But I bought a ticket on that car down there.
For the Corn Festival?
Yeah.
Okay. What special?
I don't even drive it, but I bought a ticket to the car.
Yeah. So, what special message would you like your children to know and your grandchildren to know when you're long gone from here? What message you can speak to them right now?
You're making me think of stuff I never thought of before. Message?
What would you tell them right now? The museum's going to be around many, many years, long after you and I are gone. What message would you like to give your children and grandchildren?
I think they'll remember their grandfather who taught them how to fly. I don't know. Except our boys didn't like flying. They liked fast cars and boats. They were not interested in what he was interested in, but he gave them their time. And I had a sailboat once, which was fun. I like sailing.
Anything you'd like to tell your kids?
Huh?
Anything you'd like to leave a message for your kids or your grandchildren?
I don't know what to leave them.
You don't know what to tell them?
I'm not going to tell them anything. It's up to them what they want to remember.
Well, let me ask you this question. So, Ernie's gone. What did Ernie mean to you all these years? 70 years. What did Ernie mean to you?
Don't ask me that. Everything.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. He was a good husband, huh? Good father?
The best. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Don't talk about it.
Let's end on a high note.
Okay.
When was the best time of your life? When was the best time of your life?
I guess when our kids were born.
Uh-huh.
You know, when Jim was born in that Fullerton College Hospital in Fullerton, they didn't have St. Jude yet.
Uh-huh.
I was there. I could hear a car drive by all night.
Did you have tough labors? Were they tough pregnancies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, he didn't go home. He'd drive by at night. I could hear his car go by
Mm-hmm.
all during the night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, why doesn't he go home? Then he went to work the next day, and the boss says, "Where you been?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent him home.
Uh-huh.
I remember that.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know the best life. I had a lot of good best lives.
Yeah.
A lot of good times.
Yeah.
Really did.
So now that you know you're in your 90s, how do you want to end the chapter in Kitty Zoeter's life? Are there things that you still want to accomplish, or still you want
You're
to do?
asking me to end everything. I don't
No,
want to.
what do you want to do? Is there anything that you want to do? I mean, do you want to jump out of a plane and
No.
skydive, or
No.
is there anything that's important to you that you still want to do that
No.
you haven't accomplished?
I'm going to fly to visit with Robbie in Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to go to Tucson, Arizona, spend time with my granddaughter. She's in the top 10% of the pilots,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to keep her. She was a glider pilot first with Ernie,
Mm-hmm.
and they make the best pilots.
You have a beautiful home here, and when people come to visit Kitty Zoeter and Ernie when they were here, you seem to always make people feel welcome here.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's always full of kids.
Yeah. So it's important to have your house always open, right?
And you know, at dinner time when we took the photo of the hook, cars would go up and down the street looking to see if the boys' cars were here.
Really?
Then the phone would ring.
Uh-huh.
That's why I had made them take them off the hook.
Okay, Kitty, we're going to wrap this up now. Anything you'd like to share with me or tell me before we close this off?
Well, I had a good life in La Habra.
Okay.
Made lots of good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids had good children. And Sonora was built so they could go to Sonora High School,
Mm-hmm.
hop the fence, were there. And that was a good school.
Mm-hmm.
And Fullerton College was fine. And I enjoyed it after the war. The 3.5, let's see, I was there for 2 more years. 3 years I was there. And then I've had a good life. I can't complain. Had a good life. I'm lucky. I'm sorry.
No, Kitty. Let me ask you this last question. And I promise this will be the last questions. What's the secret to living a long life?
I don't know. Last year I didn't want to live anymore.
But if you would have gone, it would have been such a big loss for all of us.
I changed my mind. Decided
Good.
to.
I'm glad you changed your mind.
But it took a while.
But what's the secret to a great life that you've lived? What's the secret? Yeah.
I don't know.
You just keep living life and just keep pushing along?
Every day is a new day.
Okay.
Like when I go to school, tell the kids, see you tomorrow on a brand new show. That was my word.
I like that. That's a good saying. Thank you, Kitty.